Hi guys, in this hair tutorial video I'm going to be sharing with you techniques for blow drying type 4 hair textures. So that's your kinky coiled hair textures from the 4A to the 4C hair texture. So my model Summer's hair is already been prepared, ready for the blow drying process that I'll be taking you guys through. Her hair is already shampooed and conditioned and it's already been detangled. The only thing that's missing currently is the actual products that we need on the hair before we start the process. So whenever we're blow drying type 4 hair textures, you want to make sure that the hair is nicely protected in the sense that you've put the right products in there. You can never blow dry afro hair without making sure that you put products on the hair. So I'm just going to quickly mention the 3 products I'm actually going to be using while I put that on Summer's hair. So as I mentioned before, the hair's already been prepared. So if you need to know more about hair prep regarding type 4 hair textures, which is your kinky coiled hair texture, you can reference our hair tutorial video on how to do hair prep for type 4 hair textures, where we go into more detail about the key products you need and what exactly you need to do to the hair before you start the blow drying process. Okay, so what I need to do now on Summer's hair, if I just turn you to the side here, I am going to actually spray my Mizani 25 Miracle Milk. This is a leave-in conditioner spray which is going to naturally soften the hair, and it's also going to start the process of moisturizing the hair as well. And this actually works as a heat protector at the same time, but I wouldn't recommend just using a leave-in conditioner as a heat protector on its own. You want to make sure that you have something for the heat protection separate to that. And then the next thing I'm going to apply is my moisturizing cream. This is the Mizani Coconut Souffle Moisturizing Hairdress. So based on the amount of hair that Summer has here, this is round about the amount that I'm going to actually be putting on the hair. So it's not a lot, but if you've not really worked with afro hair, this might seem like it's a lot of product on the hair. But because with afro hair texture, it's naturally quite dry, just for the fact of the texture of the hair itself. So we do use quite a little bit of product when we style this hair. So I'm just taking this through the palm of my hand and then just gently working that through the hair. So I'm not pressing too hard into the hair because I want the product to deposit evenly throughout the hair itself. So just make sure you just get that product in. And I am going to take a little bit more product, and this will be applied more closer to the root area. So I've got another small amount of product in my fingers here, and I'm just going to focus on working that through more towards the root area, because the rest of the product I applied before went more from the mid-length to the ends of the hair. Okay, so once the hair is nicely moisturized, the next thing I need to make sure I apply is a heat protection. So because we are going to be using a lot of heat when we do the blow drying process, you do need to ensure that you actually apply heat protecting product. So the one I'm using is the Mizani Thermostrength product. This comes in more of a cream instead of like a clear serum. So you get different types of heat protecting products that you could use, but this is my preferred product to use. So I've got this amount here, and this again, I'll just work that through my hands and take it through the hair as I did before with the other product. So once the hair is completely covered with our product, the next thing we need to do is we need to section this hair into 4. Because Summer does have, her hair is quite thick, but she doesn't have a lot of hair. So I can easily work that into 4 quarters when I actually start the blow drying process, which I'm just going to section the hair now. Your sections, they don't have to be completely straight, but you just want to ensure that the hair is evenly separated and it's easy for you to work through. So if I just separate this now into 4, and then I'm just going to use my butterfly clips to hold the hair. If you have a client or you're working on someone's hair that is very thick and is very long, you probably might have to section the hair at least into 6 to 8 sections. So whatever size is going to work for you when you actually blow dry, because the key thing is the section that you blow dry, you need to be able to hold it in one hand at the same time. So if you find that the hair is too much to hold in one hand while you do the blow drying process, I would recommend that you section that hair a little bit more. So even though I've got the 4 sections here, when I start to blow dry the hair, what I might do is to section out half this out and then blow dry this little bit here first and then go in with the other one. Okay, but the key thing is to just section that hair out and work in a way that's more clean, and you're not having to deal with a lot of hair flying around at the same time. Okay, so now we've got Summer's hair nicely sectioned out here. I'm just going to quickly stop here and just talk through tools that we need specifically for blow drying. So the number one thing I would say is just make sure you have a good hair dryer. You want a dryer that is powerful and that's going to allow you to do this process very quickly. You don't want a dryer that is not very strong, because then you're going to spend so much time just trying to blow dry the hair and smooth it, which can essentially then dry out the hair quicker than what you want it to be stretched out, which can then cause the hair to shrink back and tangle, and it can just increase the time that it's actually going to take you to actually do the work. So just make sure you have a good hair dryer. The brand that I use for my dryer is Pearl-X. So that's what I've always used since I started hairdressing. There's so many other options, so you can decide for yourself what you prefer. You have the Dyson dryers, you have the GHD, there's so many options, but just make sure you have a really good hair dryer that you could actually use. So this is my dryer that I'm going to be using here. And the next thing I need to ensure is I actually have an afro pick attachment. So the afro comb attachment, or afro pick as we call it, this is the key tool that you need when you're going to be blow drying type 4 hair texture. Always remember the hair is naturally tightly coiled, so it's not very easy for you to just go in and start using your paddle brush or your round brush like you might do on your other hair textures, such as the Caucasian hair and Asian hair textures, and even some of your type 3 hair textures as well. So whenever you're working with your type 4 hair textures, I'll always make sure that I have this in my kit, and you need to do the same thing as well. So if you're based in the salon, just make sure you have a few of these. If you're a stylist and you're traveling out for work, just keep one of these in your kit, because you never know when you might need to work on someone with type 4 hair texture. So this is the afro hair pick attachment. You can get this on Amazon. You can get this from most of your afro hair shops where you can buy products from. You might find one of these here. I prefer this one. This brand is called Aphrodite, and I find this is much more easier to work with because the teeth here are a little bit more thinner and more narrow, so they go into the hair much more easily. And it's got an extra attachment here that actually comes off in case if your dryer is a little bit more on the wider side, or if your dryer is a little bit more narrow, then you put this back in and then it allows it to sit. I would recommend that if you're going to buy this and you're going to a shop to get it, take your dryer with you so you can actually try and see if it fits on there, because some of your dryers might be too wide, so it might not actually work. So if in the instance where your dryer is too wide, then you're likely going to have to buy a new dryer that actually fits the blow drying attachments. If you have a GHD, I believe they have their own attachment they've created that fits on their dryer. The Dyson one comes with their own one as well. So there are dryers now that are producing dryers that come with the Afro Pick attachment, so you don't have to worry about getting an added attachment outside from the company that you bought the dryer from. But if you don't have that, then you need to just look for one of these. So this is the key tool when we're actually doing the blow drying process, because essentially what we're doing is we're just literally combing the hair. So the combing process allows us to detangle the hair, and the stretch that we get in that helps to set the hair, so it actually stretches and makes the hair straight at the same time. Okay, so this is the first tool we're going to have, but also keep the regular attachment that comes with your dryer with you, because there is like a two-step process to the blow drying process. So the first thing we'll do is we'll blow dry with the fork attachment. If I was doing a style where I need the hair to be much more smoother, I'm likely going to go over the hair a second time. So the first thing I'm going to do is to smooth the hair with the fork attachment, and then I'm going to remove this attachment from the dryer, and then I'm going to replace it with the attachment that normally comes with your dryer anyway. So at this stage, the hair would have been stretched out a little bit more. Then I'm able to go in with my paddle brush or my round brush to smooth that hair a little bit more. So you can use round brushes and paddle brushes when you style your afro hair textures, but there is steps that you have to take to get to that stage. So ensure you follow those steps, which would be to use your fork attachment first, and then after you can proceed and use one of these here. I tend to prefer to use more the flat paddle brush to do the smoothing out of the hair versus using the round brush. The round brush, I tend to use that if I was doing more blow drying on chemically processed hair, because I wanted to create a little bit more lighter movement to the hair. With this, I don't really need that because we just need a basic smoothing and blow drying. So for those of you, if you work in theater, for example, you're likely going to do blow drying and smoothing out before you place the hair under a wig. So this will be the method of blow drying technique that you probably would have to do on someone's hair.